Well, hello, welcome to I Love Gay today. And we are now, for our very first time, oddly enough, we're in P-Town, Provincetown, and we're here with Carmen and Trevor. How are you both?
Hi, Al.
We're excellent. I mean, it's quiet during Provincetown in the winter. We go from around 60,000 in the summer during the high season to 3,500 locals during this time of year.
It's
I can just,
exciting, but it's kind of nice, actually.
I bet, kind of regroup and hunker down so you can focus on all the great things coming up here,
Yeah,
which
there's a
we'll
beautiful balance to it all. Mhm.
which we'll be chatting about. But what's interesting is that, and so you're the executive director and associate director of the Provincetown Business Guild. And I don't know if everybody knows it. And it's very interesting. And I think it's unique because at first, when I hear that, I just assume you're kind of an LGBT chamber of commerce and so forth. And I think you guys are, but you're so much more than that, right?
Yeah, we have sort of a unique structure as compared to another chamber of commerce. Officially, we are a member-based, not-for-profit 501(c)(6) like most chambers, but the PBG was started in 1978. There were a bunch of innkeepers that were interested in marketing P-Town specifically to LGBTQ plus folks,
Yeah.
and went to the chamber at the time and asked them to start allocating dollars towards that segment, and they said no. So they said, "Well, okay, we're going to create our own chamber." Like
Yeah.
the gays and lesbians of that era needed to do. They took a stand, formed their own group, and in the first year, they generated Carnival. This is 1978, which has since become the largest event on Cape Cod with the Carnival Parade.
Wow. No, I know it's very interesting because then when I saw you all, we reconnected. But when I at the New York Travel and Adventure Show, and so there was this LGBTQ pavilion, and the moment I walk in, you guys are right there, front and center. And first, even before everything else, what's interesting is that you were teamed up with Visit Lauderdale, so you guys are kind of working together to do some cross promotions.
You want to take this
Oh,
one?
yeah, exactly. So this is kind of the first year of this larger partnership between two LGBTQ plus travel destinations and supporting each other across all platforms. They're both really exceptional destinations and trying to uphold each other as growing places for travel.
Yeah. Well, totally makes sense. And yeah, Richard Gray and Fort Lauderdale, they've been at it for a long time, as well as you all have. But I love seeing you all together. And but that's really it though, is that I think, growing up, I'm in my mid 50s, so I could say that, growing up, it's always been in the LGBT space. It's Palm Springs, Key West, and Provincetown has always been kind of an anchor. But you guys have really maintained that over the years, and I take it part of it is because you're so good at really kind of getting the word out.
Yeah, that's really what we're tasked with. We're the only local group that is focused solely on LGBTQ plus tourism.
Yeah.
And what makes us again unique from like a typical chamber structure is that one of the ways in which we accomplish that marketing is through event production.
Yeah.
So the folks who know Provincetown have heard of all of our theme weeks. We have Women's Week, we have Bear Week, we have Women of Color Week, we have Pride Weekend, and the list goes on and on and on. And the PBG is responsible for 5 of those larger weeks. And it's one of the ways in which we put up the queer bat signal to
Yeah.
come and join us in town.
Isn't it so intense in the summertime that there's a certain point where the ferries are coming in from Boston and they cross over between Bear Week and some other one of your other events, and so you have this crossing of all the bears coming in and all the younger gays leaving, or vice versa. And I hear some great stories about this.
They definitely keep the ferries busy for sure. It's nonstop week after week, which is really exciting too. You just have an onslaught of various different people and interests kind of cross mingling. Even during Bear Week, I do events in town as well for the queer and sapphically inclined under Babes and Boys. And we've
Yeah.
hosted some really exciting events during Bear Week or Carnival or
Yeah.
any theme week, which is really fun.
So everyone is welcome to come to P-Town at any given time.
Absolutely.
We're accessible to every letter of the LGBTQ plus alphabet mafia at any moment. But it is really nice to kind of like elevate each kind of subculture. And as you say, like the locals were so busy during the summer, you kind of forget what's coming next. And then you look up and you'll see, 30 burly men with their sweet little rolling bags coming down Commercial Street. And you'll see, the 4th of July crew kind of rolling out at the same time. and you'll know what's coming up next.
Along with Miss Richfield cruising right down the center of
Yeah.
town.
Beep, beep. Yeah, absolutely.
Some of the businesses that are kind of anchors for, and it's not a pun when I say that, because one of them is Crown and Anchor, and you have Boat Slip, and you have a few that just really come to mind. But that's a big part of it. But are there others that are just like really, some of the long-term dedicated to the LGBT events and so forth that have been going on there?
Well, I think that because of our role, we have a large connection with a lot of the business owners, many of whom are LGBTQ plus, and many of who are here because they understand the uniqueness of Provincetown, the importance of maintaining a 70% plus LGBTQ plus visitorship, and that we have to work together in order to maintain that space. All of them are committed to that cause, and that's one of the reasons they support our membership. But the in recent years, I feel like there's a lot of turnover in both ownership as well as new businesses that are cropping up. I actually moved here to help open up Provincetown Brewing Company, which is right down the street from us, and they're open year round and are pretty dedicated to the culture of the community, and I think are a good representation of somebody who continues to participate and make sure they're contributing.
Yeah, I love hearing that. It shows. That's why I was asking, because I see all these things, but I don't always know. I don't have the reference. I just know some of the tea dance at Boat Slip that I think every gay man has been to at some point in his life.
I think another good call out is the Gifford House. Do you want to share some of
I
what
was going
they're
to say a
doing?
lot of the younger, newer ownership, like Stephen at the Gifford House, really opens up a space to a wide variety of events, and really an accepting space for everyone coming through. I also love the Sea Glass Inn as one of the largest LGBTQ owned businesses in town, female owned, and they've housed some really exciting things for us too, like the first queer and sapphic-ly inclined pool party during Carnival.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really amazing business owners, and they've been supporting the LGBTQ plus economy and visitors all.
It's interesting though when I was at your booth and I saw, and of course Visit Lauderdale we talked about, but was fantastic was that I recognized some of the folks from Provincetown Tourism, and so you guys really work closely with the tourism department there as well.
Yeah, they do. Tony Fucillo at the tourism office and Anita Cantor, his associate director, they do an incredible job of really marketing Provincetown more broadly. Obviously there's a large imbrication of who they're trying to reach and who we're trying to reach, but we're just kind of like a more focused, and because we're not governmental, we're a not-for-profit, we're a little bit more nimble in terms of what we can be doing marketing wise. We can be placing digital banners on Scruff or Grinder or some more like subculture spaces to really try and reach visitors where they're at.
We'll say that since 1978, you didn't need to ask anyone's permission.
Exactly.
I love that, except for our managing board.
Yes.
We do have a board.
One caveat.
Yeah.
But even from your website, then I noticed that right around the corner is Snowbound Leather Week. Is that the first event coming up?
Yeah, Snowbound Leather Weekend is hosted by Mates, who also has Mates in the fall.
Yeah.
It's as we mentioned earlier to you, the population is around 3,500 during this time of year, but that doesn't mean that Provincetown is closed in any way. Like I said, a lot of the businesses are open, the art galleries, there's shows being put on. Snowbound is a great example of kind of one of the upticks in tourism during the winter. And one of the things that we like to highlight, because as we know, the rates in Provincetown have increased a lot in recent years, and some people find it more difficult to access an event like 4th of July weekend or Bear Week. But you can, as an alternative, you can come in the shoulder season or in the winter season and come be with your LGBTQ plus brothers and sisters and connect with that community at a far reduced rate.
Yeah, I thought that was great. And then but is Pride the first one kind of in the summer after all this, before Bear Week and everything else kicks in?
Yeah, we also have Men's Day weekend, Memorial Day weekend, and Women of Color weekend, which happens around the same time as Pride. And then yes, Pride kind of jumpstarts a lot of large scale theme weeks. from that point on.
Pride's really interesting. It has sort of an interesting identity because it's relatively new. It's going into its 7th year this year. And there was kind of a running joke when it was started, like, why the redundancy? Isn't every day in Provincetown Pride? And really, Carnival is the original sort of LGBTQ plus summer celebration for the town. But what we found for Pride is that the folks who have never been to Provincetown are less familiar with the theme weeks and that culture. They find Pride to be a really good entry point into what the Provincetown experience is like. So organically, we've been bringing in a much younger set of travelers for that weekend. A lot more diversity, a lot more female representation, especially with the overlap with Women of Color Weekend. So we're really excited by where Provincetown Pride is going, because it gives us an opportunity to access new first-time LGBTQ plus visitors.
Yeah. And then even outside of the LGBT world, I know that because everybody seems to work so closely together. Provincetown is unique. But you have the International Film Festival, you have a food and wine festival, but you got some really major events that it seems like everybody kind of comes to.
It's true. It keeps expanding the off season too. So when it's seemingly quiet in previous years, the Food and Wine Festival is a great example of that in early November. Kind of just started as a handful of events, and Matt King, who puts that on, gets a lot of support from restaurants that want to stay open just a little longer, inns that want to stay open as well. And the ferry service, I believe, also expands through that weekend too.
I'm looking forward to all this. I need to get back out there. It's been since 2012. My
Oh,
husband proposed to me in 2012 in Provincetown. So at some point, we're going to have to make it a reunion and an anniversary and come back there.
Yeah, you have to tell us your story real quickly. And also, just as a note, this year is the 20th anniversary of gay marriage legalization in Massachusetts, actually.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to be celebrating that a lot this summer, especially during Carnival.
Yeah. Now, of course, it all made sense because that was when gay marriage was then legal in 2013. We got married that year. And so just knowing, that was all coming along. So we decided for the first time to make it all official. So Provincetown will always be near and dear to my heart for that reason.
We'd love to hear it.
Well, thanks so much for being here with us all and sharing a bit of kind of what you're all up to. And like I said, look forward to being able to connect again in the real world.
Yeah, we'll have to connect when you come down.
I'd like that. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Feels good, so good.